And good afternoon, everybody. I'm Keith Koontz. What will it take to finally get a state budget in place? Both sides, Democrats and Republicans, walked out of the Capitol overnight because the budget document was not ready. It is ready now. Meantime, the state Senate set to reconvene at this hour. Chief Political Correspondent Mark Davis live in Hartford with the latest, including an exclusive interview with one of the key players in the debate. Good afternoon, Mark.
Good afternoon, Keith. Good afternoon, everyone from the State Senate chamber at the State Capitol Complex in Hartford. And you're absolutely right. That budget document is now ready. It's been online now since early this morning, which means they can move forward. That was really one of the holdups last night. Joining us exclusively here at noontime is the Senate President Pro Tem, Democratic Senator Marty Looney of New Haven. Senator, thanks for joining us.
Sure.
First of all, I understand the first item on your agenda here when you convene here this afternoon will be this Millstone bill that allows the nuclear power plant to become be able to be in the retail electric business.
Well, it allows them to, in effect, present to the DP to PURA to be evaluated.
Public Utilities Control Authority.
Utilities Control Authority, and what that means is that the rulings of PURA will then make a determination as to whether or not they would be able to directly enter the market as opposed to selling their product as they do now through hedge funds. So it is the bill essentially that passed the Senate during the regular session but was not taken up by the House.
Right. And you're hoping that if you can pass it here, which I understand the Republicans say it will pass because there's votes on that side of the aisle too, that it'll go downstairs. Now,
it did pass 23-9 in the Senate during the regular session.
There's overwhelming support here for it. Why did you decide to do that first?
Well, we figured that would be a useful way, since that is more of a consensus item than what we'll be doing later.
Right. Okay. Well, what you're going to be doing later is not a consensus item. That's the budget. Now, the budget document was posted online this morning, I understand, at 6:15 a.m. I thought that there was a 12-hour rule that you couldn't bring anything up for 12 hours, which would mean you couldn't even start debate on it till 6 o'clock tonight.
Well, we had an understanding with Senator Fasano that as soon as it became available, I believe it was made available to his caucus, I believe a little bit earlier than that, and he has graciously agreed to accept that as a good faith effort to comply with the rule.
Okay. So you bring up the budget here this afternoon. You need 18 votes in order to allow the Lieutenant Governor to break the tie and send it to the House. Do you have 18 votes?
I believe we will have 18 votes.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the stuff that's in here. We talked last night at about 6 p.m. or 5:30, whatever it was, about this new tax on people who have summer homes. At that point, it was only applying to out-of-staters. Now it would apply to anyone who has a seasonal home?
It would apply to second homes of all kinds, I believe. Yes.
So whether you live in Connecticut or not, you would pay it. And there was some kind of a constitutional issue of taxing out-of-staters differently from in-staters?
I think that became an issue. The original concept was that it would only apply to those who were not actually state residents and may be here for less than half the year, but it has to be applied more broadly than that. And the problem we ran into last night, frankly, was getting that item and a number of other items drafted that we had agreed to in concept but had not been reduced to statutory language.
Right.
And that's why the evening dragged on last night.
So if you had a summer home, you'd have an additional 2.75 mils added onto it, which would go to the state.
That's right, 2.75 mils, and we expect that will be worth in the area of about $30 million in state revenue.
$30 million, which helps you close the gap. We understand the language is back in establishing the Transportation Finance Authority, and that authority has the authority to impose electronic tolls, highway tolls.
Well, I believe what will happen, we also have on the ballot in 2018 the lockbox provision. I don't foresee any action being taken regarding tolls until that amendment is adopted by the public, which would, in effect, guarantee that any of those revenues would be used for transportation purposes exclusively.
Right, so that would not happen until the public had voted on the lockbox, which keeps all money generated by the tolls going to transportation.
Right, not only by the tolls, but again, the gas tax revenues and any other revenues that are earmarked for transportation purposes.
Right, so, and all the other things that we talked about yesterday, the 49 cent a month, the cell phone tax and so forth, that is still in.
Yes, and that puts us in line with a number of other states who have adopted similar taxes as well. I believe we would be in line with Massachusetts and New York and other states in the region.
Okay, and so what time does the budget plan hit the floor here in the Senate?
Well, our expectation is that we will be on the floor on or before 1 o'clock to deal with the Millstone bill first, and hope that we will begin the budget within an hour of that time.
All right, so presumably if you do have the votes, as you say, the budget bill comes out of here by dinner at least, because there'll be a lot of debate. Everyone will speak, correct?
Well, I don't know whether everyone will speak, but there will certainly be extensive debate.
Right. And the House has agreed to come back at 5 p.m. Do they have the votes down there, or do you know?
I haven't spoken with the Speaker since early this morning, so I believe they do as well. I believe he believes they do.
All right, Senator Looney, I know you have to get to your caucus.
Okay, yes,
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Senator Martin Looney of New Haven, the Democratic Senate President Pro Tem. So there it is. They're going to do that Millstone bill first, and then move the budget bill, the Democratic budget bill that was agreed to by the governor here in the Senate. It'll probably go quite a few hours. My guess is if that schedule holds, and Senator Looney is pretty good at predicting this stuff, that it should be able to go downstairs to the House by early this evening. We'll see. Live from the State Senate, Mark Davis, News 8.